Welcome to the Town of Shandaken Conservation Advisory Council meeting, February 17th. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, where did I put my, here it is. Okay. Well, we're waiting for Rob on Zoom. Yeah. Minutes. Does anyone have any comments? Does anyone want to make a motion? I move we accept the minutes.
I second.
Who seconds?
Maya.
Karen? Maya, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, membership items, correspondence and announcements. First of all, I sent you all in an email a copy of our latest membership list. I'll just pass it around so you can see what it looks like. But this has all our phone numbers and emails. It doesn't have our mailing addresses, but we could add that. And it also has Tom's number on it in case we ever have to cancel a meeting or something. And it has numbers for, you'll see, Heidi and Mina, our advisors. So this is what it looks like. Everything correct?
It's the Caputo.
Okay. I added quite a few things to this, so I'm going to talk a little bit. First of all, do that later. I brought a copy of our local law that created the Conservation Advisory Council. And this afternoon, late this afternoon, I put it on Slack. You know, the website has been redesigned, and I didn't see it on the website. But it's good. It's a good thing to look at every once in a while because it tells what we're charged by the town to do and what our duties are. So have a look when you have a chance. And I made a copy for you, Nicole, because I feel like that was before I found it on my hard drive.
Oh, thank you. I was able to find it online.
Oh, you did?
It was like on an eCode 360 site.
Oh my God.
I was able to find it,
Oh,
yeah.
wow,
so I
good
went
for you.
through it. Yeah. Yeah, but thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I feel like we invite new members and we
Right,
don't.
I didn't see it.
There's no orientation. So, would you like a copy?
Look, I'll find it. Is it on the website?
It's on the Slack.
Oh, it's on Slack.
It's on Slack now. Yeah.
I do have a question about the segment E, which is conduct and maintain an up-to-date inventory of the natural resources within the town in map form. We don't actually have the ability to create a map at this point that I know of, or I mean, it's just the website already contains a map of its own.
Well, I think this is a natural resource inventory.
Okay, well, that is, because I was
I mean,
thinking, are they saying that we have money to do it because they're saying
We
that
don't
that's...
have money,
I know,
Catherine.
all right, they're giving us money to do it, but no, they're not. Okay, we have
No,
to wait
this
for the
is what
grant.
created
Okay.
us
When I
as
saw
an
that, I thought something had changed.
No.
Okay.
Hi, Rob.
Hello, so I'm late, thank you.
Yeah. So, I don't know exactly when you joined, but we were just reviewing the new membership list with people's phone contact information and the local law, which I put on Slack for us to review, because that's what we were created to do. I don't feel that we're straying from our responsibilities in any way, shape, or form, but it's just good to look at it once in a while. And the other thing, which I made a copy of, is the Climate Smart Communities Certification Action Checklist. Now, this is what we, as a climate smart community, this is what we're supposed to be doing. And the ones that, we accomplished a lot of these things. My list looks like this, it's all marked up and highlighted and everything. And so a lot of things that we did gave us points. This tells what the action is, and then how many points you get. So we got 120 points, and that gave us the bronze certification. And yes, and it is on the website, everything that we did.
It's on the town website?
On the town website,
Okay.
under the CAC. But I particularly wanted to highlight this PE9, which is Inform and Inspire the Public. And the first action is climate change education and engagement. So I feel like that is what we're trying to achieve with some of our planning for emergencies and things like that. But I just wanted to touch base. Those are our two kind of guiding documents. The Extreme Precipitation Seminar recording is available. I don't know if anybody else listened to it.
I did.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
And what did you think? Talking to them like that.
I thought it was very informative. It was very scientific. And so it was a little over my head, but the general premise and ways of measuring I thought was really quite informative. What's happening in terms of rainfall.
Yeah.
And being able to predict what's happening, whether it's a 100-year flood, a 1,000-year flood,
Yeah.
although it's not 100%.
I thought so too, but it was also over my head. I got lost in the weeds in the statistics. But the most interesting graphic was right at the beginning, the one I found most compelling. And it is the observed number of very heavy rain events, which is defined as 2 inches in a day. And the number of them and the frequency is increasing. So the graphic showed a map of the United States, and since the 1950, in the Southwest, the extreme rainfall events have increased 5%. In the Northeast, they've increased 71%. So in our area, we are by far and away the biggest recipient of the rain, and the Midwest is like 37%. So it's pretty dramatic, and that's right at the beginning. I think I put the recording on Slack. If not, I can send it to you. And we talked about the website revision. Thank you, Robert Drake, for clarifying and simplifying and making it all a lot more streamlined.
User-friendly for sure.
User-friendly, yes. I wanted to mention, during our community solar campaigns, some of us signed up for community solar, and we were put in a waiting list.
I got it.
Who did you sign up with?
I think Nexamp.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I got a letter and it said this is happening, and I think I must have signed up at one point thinking,
Yeah.
oh, it would just happen, and
Yeah.
but it showed up. So I'm still waiting for the credit, but it said I'm in process.
Yes, I got
my
the same letter. I signed up with Nextamp also. So Nextamp is accepting, seems to be, I mean, how long ago was it that you signed up?
In the summertime, July.
Summertime, yeah. It's, they haven't, it's not final in my case. They are sending the information to my utilities, so they have to coordinate with NYSEG. We'll see, that might take months, I don't know.
Do you know where the farm is? Is it in Red Hook?
I have no idea. But
No.
I
We don't know.
don't know, it doesn't tell you. It just gives you a letter that says you've been accepted or that you're now participating and that you'll soon see it, and they show you the bill and they show you where the line item will be for the credit, and so.
That's great.
Yeah,
So it was a bit-
finally.
yeah,
So
it was.
it's not as much of a black hole as
As we thought.
we assumed. I don't know if you got an email from NYSEG about the securitization
What does that
charge.
mean?
Well, NYSEG has, because of the extreme storms, has incurred a lot of additional costs. And the only way they can, well, I guess there are two ways they can get help paying for this. And one is by raising the rates, but they're not going through that process. Instead, they're assigning a securitization fee to help defray the costs of the additional maintenance.
Wasn't it only for utilizers that use more than 600 kilowatts
Yes.
per month?
600 kilowatt hours per month,
Oh, well,
which is, so I checked my bill, that's about twice what I use. So it's not universal, it's not a, a flat tax. It's for users of 600 kilowatts a month. And then there's some, eventually it will go down to $5 a month. This was interesting. It's a summer internship program for teens, I think 16 to 18, and they make $18 an hour working in the Ulster County Climate Corps. So I have a couple copies if people want to put it up their post office or something.
I can.
Something.
Yeah, but
Want to put it up in
maybe
Phoenix?
Phoenicia would be better than Chichester.
I can put up, I'm putting up some other stuff.
Okay.
Who's doing it?
Climate Corps, it's
Ulster County?
I shared it on social.
happening.
Great, yeah.
Nice.
Well, I sent it to some friends' parents. I sent it to the parents. I think I have a couple more if anybody wants them, but they'll show up sooner or later. Maybe they're here. Yeah, smaller ones.
Oh, okay. Do you need these all? Or?
Sure.
This. We had a meeting with Heidi this week, which we'll talk about in a minute, but at the end of the meeting, she sent this out to those of us whose emails she had. It's a free class to learn about preparing for emergencies put on by the Homeland, New York State, Homeland Security and Emergency Services Citizen Preparedness Corps. It's taking place in Highland Falls Senior Center at 6 p.m. on Friday, February 21st. Brought to you by Governor Hochul and the National Guard. Anyway, this is just an example of something that the state is, I'll pass it around.
Right, yeah.
The state is doing to try to avert disasters or help people.
Yeah, I think we should reach out to them for one of our disaster
Yeah.
events. Because they've got it ready to go
Yeah.
and just like plug and play,
Yeah, plus they have the
Right.
kits and everything.
Then I also got something from Woodstock Land Conservancy. It's a talk on Woodstock Pollinator Pathway, a tea and a talk. It's from 2 to 4 p.m. at their offices
across from Sunflower.
on February 23rd. Oh, if anyone's interested?
I work on Sundays. I do get those emails myself, and
Oh, good.
you forwarded it to me,
Yeah.
but there's only, it's a 15-person limit on attendance, and because I'm not sure how late I'm working, I did not want to sign up and take up a space
Yeah.
and then not be able to get there.
Okay. Well, I think that's all the Oh, yeah, that's all for now. So let's move on to the committee reports. The first one is about the results of our meeting with Heidi that I mentioned. And Nicole is going to tell us what we discussed.
Sure.
Let's say who attended. There was Heidi.
Yes,
you,
it
me.
was Heidi, Beth, Maya, and Catherine was online, right?
Yes.
And we did this on Friday, and so we talked about a series title of Shandaken Prepares, very present, very positive, and we talked about doing a series of 3. Maybe that would be extended, but for now we talked about 3. The first one would be flood mitigation. The subtitle for that would be Protect the Life You've Built from Flooding, and it would be focused on how to protect your home, your land, your business. The second one would be individual disaster preparedness, and this would be led by Anna. And this would be centered more on homeowner mitigation, how to prepare materially and physically, backup plans, water sources, go bags for your home and car, emergency centers, cell service, satellite, etc. We also discussed Maya's idea of a segment between town officials and non-disaster prep individuals to learn how they currently communicate together. I'm not sure which one that would go under, but it seems like a really important place somewhere. So that one we talked about that it would possibly be on an afternoon, on a weekend, possibly at the Catskill Center, that we'd have like a laminated checklist for homeowners as a handout from Anna. And the third one would be fire preparedness. And this one would take a bit more time for planning because we would be checking in with all the fire companies, of which there are, how many, 7 or 6 or 5? So for our first one on flood mitigation, we're talking about doing this in the spring, possibly on May 19th at our CAC meeting. We would go over riverine flooding, risk to structures, how to protect your property from flooding. We would have a handout that Heidi would provide called the Homeowner's Guide to Mitigating Floods. And we're also talking about having food available at the event, either pizza or something from the diner maybe, to entice people to come on down. Yeah. So we left off with our tasks that Heidi's going to check with John about the date on May 19th to see if that works for both of them. She's going to supply language for our flyer, which I will design, and we'll reach out to her again to decide on the next date we want to meet, to discuss more details. And I think, Beth, we're going to discuss food tonight, and then maybe you were going to talk to Mike, or?
Yeah. I don't know that we need to discuss it yet, but.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Mike.
Yeah,
But pizza might be good too, I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, we just, Heidi also mentioned that the people who are at risk of flooding are those people who are located in the local flood analyses, also known as LFAs.
Yeah.
And they've done, I think, 5 of them in Shandaken. And so she may have the names and addresses of those
she
people.
does? Oh.
And so I hope she can come up with that info, because I believe, you know, everyone is at risk. I mean, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because there's so many things that floods can affect, even if you're on a mountain. Like I live on a dead-end road with a very old bridge at the bottom, a little tiny bridge, you know, and that could wash out in a minute. So, you know, there are a lot of things that people have to prepare for, so.
Well, for example, in Chichester, there are 2 bridges, and if they go down, there's no way to get out.
Yeah.
So there are things that residents should be very familiar with in case
Yeah.
something happens.
Well, that's what happened to me.
Yeah, in Oliveria. So, I think this sounds like a nice series for us.
I agree.
And we can promote it at the farmer's market maybe, or, you know, have some other public outreach. I think we need to really be more visible.
Yeah, yes. Public outreach, I'll talk about that with the
Okay.
comprehensive plan.
I
Yeah.
was wondering, we don't have a separate Facebook page just for the CAC.
No.
Is that something that we
You know,
might
I-
want to do, because we can promote some of our things there? I mean, I
Well,
know we
Joyce
can-
will promote anything we want.
Yeah,
And she has a big email list, I mean, you
Yeah.
know,
But I'm not
list
Yeah.
of followers.
yeah,
And then we can promote it on our own social media too.
okay.
Yeah. I'd rather stick with the town.
Oh, really? I was thinking it'd be fun for us to have an Instagram,
Yeah,
because things like the disaster preparedness workshops would be really cool to like cut together like a 60-minute video of like the coolest parts of it, you know?
Well,
and just
I'm
kinda
sure
get it
that would
going,
be cool. Yeah,
You know?
I don't know that there's any prohibition against it, but I'll ask.
I think we could just like get people more interested in coming to these meetings too, if like we were putting information out. We don't have to put a ton of pressure that we need this many posts at this many, you know, this many times, but I think it could, even like the pollinator pathway, like those are things that people might really be interested in learning more about.
Yeah.
So far, people are still on social media, so, you know, I know there's been a
Well,
little
I'm
bit of an
not.
exodus, but,
So that's, I mean, that is,
yeah.
I think that's one of the things I would like to kind of bring up is that I'm finding with the comprehensive plan that the communication is very, it's not really very good. And for example, even though they did publicize it on the emergency network, I found out, I was talking to some renters, and they had not even signed up for the emergency alert system.
That's one thing we have to just,
And so
have
there
front
needs to
center.
be some kind of, and whether the new website, I think, looks much happier and more inviting.
and it mentions the emergency alert at the top of it.
Right, and also, I don't know if anyone remembers the good old days of when, what was it called, the welcome wagon? And even though that's probably passé now, even if there was a little thing that we can put up on the website that's like a welcome wagon, that has information on there that's, you know, somehow invites people to participate and where to look and how to do it.
Talk to Joyce about this.
Okay.
Because she handles the emergency alert system.
Okay.
And I think there is a welcome wagon packet.
Something that we could maybe
And it's
use.
It's probably that they hand out, you know,
Yeah, it would be nice if it was digital.
to new owners.
Right.
Well, I found out about the emergency alerts on Facebook, and then I signed up for it, and then Joyce and I had like a 3-week back and forth because I signed up for it and then I never, Catherine was the one that texted me to tell me that there was a storm coming, because I never got an emergency alert, and so then after the storm, I was like, Joyce, I'm not getting these alerts. So it's not foolproof.
Well, I get them on my cell phone and my landline, and they come through at the same time. And I think, oh my God, and I don't recognize this number.
Well, does the comprehensive survey that we had everybody do, did they ask about like how people are getting information?
No, and this is what's kind of
would've been
odd to
great.
me. So when we get to that part of the meeting, there's about 200 people have responded, and then they asked everyone that attended these in-person kickoff meetings to then reach out to 5 additional people, particularly renters. They've heard a lot from homeowners, but not people that are renting, which is a group that is very important to hear from. Also, I feel like, so then I went around my neighborhood and just talked to younger people that I know are renting or living in their family home, multi-generational living, to encourage them to participate and even contact the consultants to have a personal conversation, because they really want to hear from these other, groups of people in terms of their thoughts and ideas and feedback. But I don't see, I was a little taken aback that there wasn't a better outreach to the community, to everyone, whether that, when the tax bills went out, would have been a perfect time to put a flyer in that said, comprehensive plan, under review, and this is what's happening, you're invited. That way every property owner at least would have gotten it, not renters, but there must be some way that we keep records of that in the town. I don't know.
Well, they made a big effort to put posters everywhere.
But, so I hand-delivered to two renters who had no idea what was going on. I talked to another woman who just moved full-time up here. I asked her if she was familiar. She said no. I said, okay, here's the flyer. Please go on the website. So I've been really literally asking people to participate.
Yeah.
But if I wasn't there, they aren't looking, and
Well, yeah, it's a
so I
problem.
guess that's part of
I mean,
public outreach.
everybody
right?
says it's because we don't have a newspaper, but then who reads the newspaper? A lot of people just use social media, and it was on social media.
Right.
But anyway,
When's the due date?
March 1st.
This particular questionnaire is ending March 1st, so,
Yeah, I wonder if it's possible to bring up a mailing with Joyce.
I can ask her. I mean, I'll talk to her and see. I mean, is it worth? Or, I mean, is that something the consultants should be discussing with her? I don't know. I don't want to overstep my
well, I mean,
public service.
we're gonna get the results of the survey at the next, well, why don't we go
Okay.
on to the comprehensive plan? Karen?
Okay, so on Saturday, January 25th, in town was the kickoff, or the public kickoff for the Comprehensive Planning Committee. There were 3 different activities happening. The first one was started at 10 o'clock. It was called the Comprehensive Plan Cake Breakfast. It was very well attended by a variety of people. The consultants had some games and some questions that each table participated in, and then shared their answers regarding their ideas and understanding about the comprehensive plan. From there, we moved, starting at 1 o'clock, to the town hall here, which was a more formal presentation that basically went into what the comprehensive plan is and what it does and why it's important, and what the process and the consultants who were running gave an overview of the project. Again, that was very well attended. A different subset of people were here. And at the very end, at 4 o'clock, we met in Pine Hill for more discussion and just brainstorming about the people's wishes for the town. And we actually filled out these big sticky pads, and then we got up and presented our idea, and then we actually put them on the wall, and I think it's still there, so it's kind of cool to go and actually look at and see all the different ideas that people have for the town. And overall, it was very well received. They did ask that everyone reach out to 5 additional people that they know to publicize and to promote the online questionnaire that is available through March 1st, and that will be the first, and then there will be others subsequently as they gather the information. I think the meeting, I attended all 3, and there was a lot of enthusiasm. I think people were very open and very willing to share their thoughts and ideas and for the town and the process. So it was, I thought it was quite encouraging. I was just disappointed about the community outreach in terms of getting information in front of people. And I think that I'm putting that in my questionnaire. Just, ways to communicate more effectively with our township and making people feel a part of, the community.
Yeah.
Were there any common themes of things that multiple people brought up?
It varied. A lot of it was inclusion, some was it food related. I really liked the idea of revisiting ideas that were put into a graveyard, like odd ideas that kind of got offloaded. And I think it spanned the, I don't remember any specific thing that stuck out. But
I mean, the people who come generally come because they're motivated by their own interests. So, there were a bunch of artists who wanted
Yes.
to promote the arts,
And I was going to say, the fire chief came with his family, and so there was a nice blend of community members who have either been here generationally or are here more recently. So I thought that it really opened up a really nice dialogue for people to meet face to face and to, share their concerns and their questions and their wishes and dreams. So I thought that was, like, the fire chief, he spoke, really about, like, our fire hydrants, for example. they're in very bad repair. So kind of was like, oh, think of Los Angeles, and when the fire hydrants weren't working, well, ours need repair too. So there were issues that were brought up that not everyone hears regularly, but
Yeah, that was
you know.
shocking. It was like 3 minutes worth of water.
Right,
And then
yes.
they have to
And then
use
they
their
have to
tanks
bring
off
their
the truck.
trucks, right.
So everybody in the room was like really.
Yeah, so there were some very interesting technical kind of issues that are very important in the case of fire preparedness, for example, that we should be looking at as a town.
Well, both water districts are engaging in a.
Yes, I think there.
Process
Yes,
at the
exactly.
moment.
So there are things happening. and- So
There's another meeting scheduled, correct?
there is another meeting, yes, on May 18th, I believe it is. March, sorry, God. March 18th. And that will be from 3 to 6 p.m. in Pine Hill with the steering committee and the planning, the coordinators, the consultants.
Yeah, so. And they're going to share the results of the.
Yes, of the survey, yes.
Great. Thank you. So, Community Action Plan, Maya.
So we had a good call with Eleanor Peck that I watched the video of because I wasn't on the first call.
Yeah.
But the Hudson Valley Regional Council created this great climate action plan spreadsheet, CAC. And we had like a first meeting. Nicole, you weren't here yet, but the rest of us were at Beth's house.
Last
where we
summer.
started filling it in. It basically has different topics. So the goal of this is we're trying to cut the greenhouse gas emissions in the town by a certain date. And it's basically a really nice planning sheet for us to meet our own goals. And there's no timeline unless we set it. So like a lot of towns are doing by 2030, because that was the UN's recommendation, which is kind of out the window now because 1.5C is done. So I don't know if that's even
Well,
relevant.
it's still the state goal, I think.
2030, which always,
Yeah.
it's coming up fast, but it's also very far away at the same time. So it's like, we're looking at buildings and energy, transportation, materials management, natural resources, and education and engagement. And then, those of you who were at the meeting remember this, but just for Nicole, we basically are looking at like, how do we implement cutting greenhouse gases in those different sectors? And then like, what are our priorities? Like comparing it with our greenhouse gas emissions and like, what is the biggest sector? What do we focus on soonest to cut the most amount of emissions fastest? And then we can make notes in the chart and like figure out like how much it's going to cost and kind of rank it. And I think it's basically just a planning doc for us to stay on top of ourselves.
Yeah.
But then we'll create a document from it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they give us a template for that, so it's
Right.
not, yeah.
And so we'll have a meeting, last thing I'll say, we'll have a meeting for that next week. On
The week after, I think.
26th, Wednesday the 26th.
Oh, yeah, the 26th.
On
A Zoom meeting,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Zoom work meeting.
Do you want me to send out the Zoom announcement, or do you want to send?
I put it on Slack and the email chain.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
I saw it, right,
Great. I brought this, and I think I put it on the Slack account. This is the Woodstock Community Climate Action Plan goals.
Nice.
I mean, they are so simple. Goal, increasing number of zero-emission and hybrid vehicles. Increase the number of installed residential level 2 EV chargers. Promote battery-powered lawn and landscaping equipment. That's the transportation sector. Residential sector, heat pumps for heating and cooling. Promote heat pumps for existing housing units. Promote energy efficiency for existing housing units. Achieve 100% zero-emission electricity supply by 2040. So that's where the town would buy electricity. Remember, community choice aggregation, I think it's called, where the community would be able to buy zero-emission electricity. So, and that's it, you know, the other two sectors, the natural resources and materials management, I mean, some of these things aren't as relevant to us because we don't have major industry here, you know, people, so, anyway, we'll continue working on this at next week. If any, I think I put, you know, this is just a one-pager. I really think it's so brilliant. And then on the other side was the community greenhouse gas inventory. So you see the inventory, which tells what our emissions are, which is a document on our website already. We've done that. And then this is how we can reduce those. Yeah.
I think there are some fun ones that we can do that Woodstock doesn't have, like nature-based shorelines and like buffer zones between the Esopus and, you know, like there are certain, when the IRA, before the IRA started getting defunded by the federal government, they were like paying to make wetland areas that were forever wild so that they could be carbon sinks. And so stuff like that would be kind of interesting for us to kind of delve into, you know?
Well, and there is, you know, the Ashokan Stream Management Program has the streamside planting and buffers,
Exactly.
and so does the estuary program. There's a lot of assistance for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
When are we gonna hear about the grant?
That I don't know, I can't tell you. Keep looking. One day it will be announced. Takes a long time.
Oh, I had one other question, because I know you had mentioned, or I was reading, that the school hasn't been very receptive, the high school, or to
Catherine has been trying to reach
get
out.
some, and I was wondering if we should start like a club at the library for kids specifically who are interested in climate action in the community, and, you know, instead of kind of promote it through the school, but the actual activity could take place like in the library or someplace that's like a community where, you know, kids could engage. I don't know if that's a
That's a clever
possibility, but maybe a way to get around some of the issues for the school.
The problem is, I just don't get any response from anyone at the school. And it's shocking.
Yeah, that's what I
Um,
feel like there's gotta be.
There's one person that I have to reach out to, and I haven't, so I will do that.
They're all on TikTok.
Well, I know her
TikTok.
mom. I know her mom.
Who's on TikTok?
Every
all the
child is on
kids.
TikTok.
Oh, okay.
We get to the kids by TikTok.
Oh, okay, well then, that's what we need.
But I think partnership is important. You know, you're talking about partnering with the library. And I think, you know, in our activities to achieve bronze certification, we did a number of programs at the Pine Hill Community Center. And, you know, I think we really can strive to do more. But I'm on the board of the library, so I know, you know, their programming is set pretty far in advance, and
Right.
yeah.
Well, you've met Ruby, right?
Yes.
My friend's daughter who works there, and
Yes.
so she's the one, her mom is a sustainable landscaper, and she started a program in New Jersey called Grow It Green, and did some amazing things, and so I know she kind of has that background, Ruby does, so I
Yeah.
thought, she was the one I thought, she would be a great person to kind of task with engagement
would
with
be
young
Yeah.
people.
The
young
library
children.
has a hard time with that age group. They're not very,
Right,
know.
right. So maybe someone that has that youth and is very
Well,
enthusiastic.
Ruby would be great, I
She would be
agree.
amazing, so.
but I mean,
Okay.
it's a little bit difficult. Because
Okay.
the library has tried to do that. and
Okay, so, all right.
It's
All right,
just a
I guess
hard
I
age
thought-
group to,
Right.
you know, there's the skateboard park. I mean, now there's,
Now, maybe we should do it at the skate park. We could find a way. Maybe, I don't know. But anyways, that was just kind of a thought I had
Yeah,
in terms
thank
of.
you.
I feel like whenever we have this conversation, I keep thinking we need a mole in the hole. Like, we need a kid, like, one of
Kid,
you
yes.
or me have a friend who has a kid who's like in the circles. We need that kid.
Yeah.
It was Caleb, kind of. but-
Yes,
Right.
right.
Maybe
about-
Sandy's daughter
what about
Sunny can
Ellie's
help
kids?
us.
Ellie, who's on the town board.
I don't know her kids.
Yeah, she's got two kids. I don't know how old they are. I'm really bad with the children's ages, but she has two children, Sophia and, can't remember her other, but maybe she might be somebody we could talk to. I don't know if their kids are into, climate action and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but maybe. They're active kids. They're in lots of programs and dance and bands, and so maybe that could be interesting.
Well, it'd be interesting to
Get
know.
those kids.
We don't even know if there's a club at the school,
Right, no.
an environmental club. I imagine there is, but we don't know.
We can help them create one.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we had them when my kids were in school. There were environmental clubs when my kids were in school.
There may well still be. We just
I
don't
know, but no one, when I called the office, they said, environmental club? I don't think so. And I said, all right, well, give me the name of the head science teacher. And I emailed him, no response. It's
Yeah.
just,
So the goal is just to
Flabbergasted.
get kids more involved, just in environmental type topics. And didn't we also want someone to kind of be, help on the CAC as well? Weren't you guys talking about that at one point?
Oh, getting a younger member.
Having a representative would be
Yeah.
good. Rob?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wonder if the elementary school, the more older elementary school kids are more conservation oriented, environmentalist oriented.
Well, the elementary school closed, so now we're talking about Bennett, middle school. They may have something. I don't know. I mean, I would be surprised if this Ontario didn't have an environmental club or some kind of activity related to the environment, but.
I mean, I feel like an ideal task for someone that age is if we task them to help with like an Instagram page. Because they are so savvy coming straight out of the womb that they already know how to do it.
Yeah.
Like they're so literate that you could just be like, go, I want you to be our person,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
That's what
a
I
great
do with my
idea.
interns at work, because they're just like so much faster at these things.
Right.
Whatever happened to Hilla the Killer?
She was only here for a year for the retreat that she was doing, and so she has a place in Brooklyn now. Yeah, she's still, she just got arrested with XR, Extinction Rebellion, in an Earth costume with a fire hat on.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, it was great.
Well,
That one,
yes,
sorry, I didn't interrupt. I got one more thing to do then.
go ahead.
The Climate Smart Community programs are now listed under the emergency preparedness section of the website. And, I'm not sure that heat pumps are necessarily emergency preparedness or electric vehicles or community solar. So I'm just gonna put a little thought to that, maybe when we get together next time. Like our committee itself is listed under boards and committees, and maybe there's something like a line that just says, or a link that says programs after that, so that all of our information is sorted together and not, because right now, the people are in one part, and the programs are in another, and the programs are under emergency services, so or disaster preparedness, so it's just something to think about.
Yeah, thank you. Anything else? No? All right. Our next meeting is March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. And we will have made a little progress by then, I presume, on some of these planning efforts for our two major projects, the CCAP and the Shandaken Prepares series. So if anybody has any other suggestions for things that we might, events that we might have, I don't know what, let's think, especially if we could coordinate with another organization. Yes,
Yeah, and the other thing that came up from, when Maya, Catherine, and I were doing our community, our solar mapping tool training, You know, we know enough to be dangerous in the sense that we can identify some of these lots that, you know, look like they're close to transmission lines, and look like they're close to, far enough away from flood plains and whatnot to be suitable. So, you know, we could have a working session to identify those a little more carefully. We could also check in with the supervisor of the town board as to whether or not they want us to actually reach out to any of those homeowners.
Well, I
Property owners.
think that's what we should do first. Why don't you reach out to Robert and Peter and explain what you're proposing? Okay?
I'll do that now. I'll
Yeah.
copy you. Thanks.
Okay, great.
Also, just a quick note that, in case people aren't aware, they're gonna have a planning board meeting about the, new cell tower, potential new cell tower on Wittenberg, and that, meeting is gonna be on, next week on Wednesday, the 26th here. And there's been a lot of chatter about it on Facebook.
Why?
Some people are against it, some people are for it. Yeah, so. I
What time's the
think-
meeting?
I believe it's at 7 PM. It's their like usual planning board meeting. I'm definitely gonna go. Yeah,
Great.
in way of, in lieu of disaster preparedness, you know,
Yeah.
having cell service.
Definitely.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
think it's supposed to just, there's all this information, up on the site, but I think it will be more like Mount Trimper area. I don't know that it's gonna come down to Phoenicia, but if we start there, maybe then we'll be able to have
Yeah.
something start down here as well, eventually.
Right. Good. Thank you. You know, we really should liaison with the planning board.
Yeah.
We have never, you know, reached out to them, and they've never reached out to us, but, I mean, that's something for the future that we should consider coordinating with them.
Maybe we should all come next week
Yeah.
as a team.
Yeah. Okay, good idea. All right, thank you all very much. Could I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
I second, Karen.
All in favor?
Aye.